So do you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, po.
Yes, po, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
so if I remember correctly, we have finished already the two taxpayers corporations, yung domestic saka resident foreign corp, no? Tama ba yun? Sorry, medyo busy ako this week kaya medyo nalimutan ko. Is it correct? O nalimutan nyo rin? We're now on this part, no? Sa non-resident foreign corp. So I think, okay, so sige, let's continue, no? Madali lang tong part na to, no? So when you say non-resident foreign corporation, so ito yung foreign corp, so ibig sabihin organized under foreign laws, no? So it's not incorporated under the Philippine laws, no? Tapos, it's not engaged in trade or business, okay? So that's why it's non-resident sa Pilipinas, okay? We're gonna tackle four types of non-resident foreign corp, no? So yung general, ito yung ordinary non-resident foreign corporation. So tapos itong tatlo are considered as special corporations, okay? So as you can see sa table na to, the tax base is gross income, no? So therefore, you're not supposed to deduct expenses to compute for the tax base, okay? So unlike pag domestic corporation saka resident foreign corp, the taxation is based on the taxable net income. But in the case of non-resident foreign corp, gross basis tax base mo, no? So the tax rate, so 25% in general for cinematographic film owners, lessors, distributors, 25%. For lessor ng or owner ng vessels chartered by Philippine nationals, 4.5%. For aircraft, machineries and other equipment, that's 7.5%. So let's discuss yung details nitong ordinary corp na non-resident foreign corporation. So the taxation again is 25% yung rate, no? At kung napansin nyo, nakalagay dito ay FWT. So remember, gross ang basihan. No? So such as interest, dividends, rent, royalty, blah, blah, blah. No? So except lang yung reinsurance premiums. Okay? So let's say, for example, si Jollibee, okay, si Jollibee, nag-loan siya kay, sino ba mga example? No? Sa isang international finance corporation, which is a non-resident foreign corporation. So nag-loan siya dito. So let's say $1 billion yung niloan ni Jollibee. Okay? So that's $1 billion. So syempre merong interest yan na babayaran. No? Okay? So let's say, ang babayaran na interest for a certain period of time is $1 million. Paano siya itatax ng BIR? No? How will the BIR collect yung tax dito? Sa example, sino ang nag-earn ng income? Is it Jollibee or the non-resident foreign corporation? So it's the non-resident foreign corporation. Okay? Pero being non-resident, wala siya dito sa Pilipinas. No? So how would the non-resident foreign corp pay its taxes to BIR? Alam natin ang tax nun is 25%, di ba? So the non-resident foreign corp should be paying $250,000, di ba? Okay? So the answer is you're correct, Christine. So done. No? The payment should be in the form of withholding tax. Okay. So in this situation, being withholding tax yan, na kaninong responsibility actually to remit the $250,000 na withholding tax. Okay. Papunta sa BIR. So sinong responsible? Is it the non-resident, or is it Jollibee? So interesting. No? Actually, ang responsibility na i-remit itong 250,000 na kay Jollibee. Jollibee is considered as the withholding agent. Okay? So if you were Jollibee, hindi mo i-remit yung 1 million ng buo kay non-resident foreign corp. Ang i-remit mo lang sa kanya is 750,000. The 250,000, you will remit instead directly kay BIR. Okay? So yung 250 na to, dito siya kay BIR. So Jollibee is the withholding agent. Okay? At dahil final withholding tax yan, kung ikaw si non-resident foreign corp, you are not obligated na mag-file pa ng tax return kay BIR. Okay? So kasi na-withheld ka na naman. And that was already final. No? Okay? Kaya naman, kung ikaw si BIR at hindi nakapag-remit sa'yo, okay, doon sa income na yon ng tax, okay, sino ang hahabulin mo for deficiency sa tax? Is it the non-resident foreign corp or is it Jollibee? So the answer is it's Jollibee. Okay? At what you should remember, class, okay, kung bakit ganito ang sistema natin. Because yung income earner dito is again a non-resident foreign corp. Kaya ang ginagawang obligated, nagpo-fall yung obligation, nandito kay Jollibee. Kasi si Jollibee ang pwedeng habulin ng BIR. Kasi si Jollibee ang resident and domestic dito sa Pilipinas. Okay? So hindi niya ginawang obligado ang non-resident foreign corp for practicality. No? Because if you were BIR, paano mo habulin yung non-resident? So yan yung sistema sa non-resident foreign corporation when they earn here in the Philippines. Okay? So that's the situation. No? Class, are you familiar with Amazon? Amazon, the e-commerce company. No? Sa Pilipinas ba pwede kang bumili kay Amazon? So the answer is yes. No? Burahin natin itong example. So, let's say for example, ako, no? Nag-browse ako ng website ni Amazon. No? So, non-resident foreign corp. sorry sa scribble. So, Leo, no? So, bumili ako yung Amazon through its website, di ba? Okay? So, worth 2,000 pesos, for example. Worth 2K. Tapos, syempre, yung goods na binili ko, galing yung sa US, tapos pinadala dito, which it took some time bago ma-deliver. No? Should I withhold 25% of my payment? Or the simple question is, subject ba to 25% tax, income tax, yung sale ni Amazon sa akin? What's your answer? Yes or no? Is the sale transaction, okay, is my purchase transaction with Amazon subject to tax in the Philippines? What do you think? Yes or no? So Jonah says yes. How about others? Any thoughts? So no for Patricia, Jason, okay, Charla, okay. Okay. So some say yes, okay. What you should remember, yung basic concept natin sa tax. Remember, tinatax yan. Ano ba ang taxation ng non-resident foreign corp? What do you call this? Ano bang situs lang ang tinatax? Pag non-resident foreign corp yan, that's only within Philippines. No? Okay? Within Philippines. So, okay? Bumili ako through website, di ba? So, ito actually yung issue ngayon sa Congress. No? Pero right now, what we have in the Philippines, yung law natin, hindi siya subject to tax. Okay? Kasi non-resident foreign corp si Amazon. At yung goods niya ay nandun sa US nung binili ko yun. I just placed my order, di ba? Sa website. Okay? So, hindi siya subject to tax. No? That's the problem that we have right now kasi that's a loophole in the economy right now. Okay? So, until the Congress would make certain laws na subject sila to tax, then only then it's going to be subject to tax. But right now, it's not subject to tax. Sadly, no? Kahit galing, yes, kasi yung place ng sale mo is through internet. Tapos yung goods ay nasa US. So, nandun nag-take place actually yung sale. That's the rule so far. Okay? Of course, that's debatable, but without a law that specifically taxes yung e-commerce transaction. So, the sale transaction occurred outside of the Philippines. Okay? So sadly, no, very unfortunate. So I hope the Congress will adapt to changing times. No? Kasi nung ginawa naman yung Internal Revenue Code natin, wala pa yung mga e-commerce na yun. No? So they were not able to foresee. Because sino nga naman makaka-foresee nun? No? Okay? Very sad state. At ang problema kasi dyan is international trade yan eh. So, ang kung itatax mo yan dito sa Pilipinas, ang sasabihin naman ng US, itatax ko rin yan dito eh. So, medyo it's a little complicated. Not a little complicated, but it's really complex. So, mayroong transfer pricing mechanism yan. So, okay? So that's why it's not really easy. That's why I can understand yung Congress why it still hasn't came up with a law. Pag tinax mo yun dito sa Pilipinas, it's already being taxed dun sa origin country. That can hamper international trade. Okay? So yun lang, no? For the other non-resident foreign corp, again, ito yung mga special corporation. And these are very, very specific. So film owners, mga Hollywood, diba? Movies. So then vessels and aircrafts. No? So ito yung mga rates nila. Okay? So, yan. No? So kung napansin nyo, ang sistema din dito ay final withholding tax din siya. No? So again, for practicality, kung sino man yung domestic or resident dito sa Pilipinas will be making the payments to the non-resident foreign corp should already withhold the tax, no, the income tax, and remit the same to BIR, no, and BIR would hold liable yung mga withholding agents na nandito sa Pilipinas for practicality because they cannot hold liable yung non-resident foreign corp because they're not here in the Philippines, no? And remember that taxation is territorial. So so we have here a checkpoint question, which I think you have already seen the answer. No? Okay. So we have here a Japanese corporation. It has no business in the Philippines, and it's engaged, no, in shipbuilding. It leases some of the newly constructed ships to Super Ferry. Okay, Super Ferry, Philippine carrier. No? So what will the income tax rate be? No? Pag si Super Ferry, no, nagbayad ng rental payments doon kay Japanese Corp, Teriyaki Corporation. So the answer is 4.5% final withholding tax. Okay? So ito yan, no? Vessel kasi siya doon. Okay? So for passive income and capital gains, so sa interest on foreign loans, 20%. No? So yung example ko kanina kay Jollibee, it should have been 20%. Okay? Then FCDU is exempt. Then dividends are 15%. But 15% is subject to the rule of tax-sparing credit or the rule of reciprocity. Otherwise, the taxation would be 25% kung walang tax-sparing or reciprocity. Okay? I'll explain what this is, no? Yung sparing credit tapos reciprocity. So capital gains sa shares ng domestic corp not traded sa Philippine stock market. So 15% din. So net capital gains, no? Yung okay, so sparing credit or reciprocity rule, yung country, kung nasaan yung non-resident foreign corp, kung nag-allow daw yun ng credit against the tax due from the non-resident foreign corporation deemed to have been paid in the Philippines, no? So the tax would be 15%. Ito yan, yung lower rate na to than the 25%. Okay? So, kung yung country, kung nasaan yung non-resident foreign corp, hindi siya nag-allow ng tax credit, so the rate would be 25%. I have here the examples para makita nyo. Merong domestic corporation, nagbayad ng cash dividend to non-resident foreign corp, organized in Brazil. Okay? Ang dividend ay itatax lang ng 15% rather than the 25%. Okay? Kung si Brazil, nire-reduce, okay, or tina-tax credit at least 15% ng tax imposed in the Philippines. Okay? Kumbaga, ang ibig lang sabihin ng class, no? Kasi generally, ang tax ay 25%. Pero if the other country ay tinatax at a lower rate, yung dividend, then tayo naman sa Pilipinas, itatax din natin ng mas maliit na rate. And that is 25% as well. Okay? The other example, so that you'll appreciate. So nagbayad ng dividend, itong PhilExcel Business Park. No? It's a domestic corporation to Intercredit Corporation, a non-resident foreign corp. Okay? So subject lang daw siya to 15%. So bakit 15% lang? Dahil daw, ang country na to, Nevis Island, no? Hindi naman siya nag-i-impose ng income tax dun sa dividend na yun. Okay? And this was already decided by the Supreme Court. No? So nag-rule na ang Supreme Court dyan na the exemption ng country na yun is sufficient basis for the applicability of the 15% tax rate. Okay? So anong tawag doon sa rule na yun? That the Philippines would reduce yung tax rate sa dividend para sa non-resident foreign corp. Kung yung other country, nire-reduce din yung kanilang tax sa dividend na yun, or they exempt the tax, the dividend from tax. So the rule is called tax-sparing credit rule, no? Or it's the reciprocity. Okay? So kung binawasan natin, kung binawasan niya, di bawasan din natin. It's just reciprocal, no? We're reciprocating what the other country had done. At if you remember, class, the basic principles ng tax. What basic principle is it? That's called international comity. No? That's being friendly, no? To other countries. Kasi different countries have different, are on their own sovereign, diba? And co-equal tayo. No? So we observe it kahit sa taxation. Okay? So yun lang for non-resident foreign corporation. Okay? So anong napansin nyo? Anong pinakamadali sa tatlo? Domestic corp, resident foreign corp, or non-resident foreign corp? So practically, ang pinakamadali, yung non-resident foreign corp. No? Kasi the tax is based already sa gross, walang MCIT doon. Okay? Unlike yung dalawa, domestic saka resident foreign corp, magko-compute ka pa ng MCIT, di ba? You compare it with the regular tax, and whichever is higher. So dito wala yun, and gross basis. You know, and the system is final withholding tax. Okay? The last part of our discussion is about exempt corporation. Okay? Tandaan nyo, class, ang basic principle. Ang exemption sa taxation ay strictly construed or taken, strictly taken against the taxpayer. Because exemption is not really favored, okay, under our rule of law. No? So therefore, kung sino man ang nagki-claim na exempt siya, patunayan niya talaga at mag-cite siya ng legal basis. No? May basihan talaga siya saying very clearly na siya yung tinutukoy doon na exempt from income tax. Okay? So, sino-sino to mga to? Ang qualification, dapat non-stock corporation or association. Okay? So it should meet also the following test. No? So as an organization, dapat related sa religious, charitable, scientific, athletic, cultural, or for the rehabilitation of veterans. And finally, dahil non-stock nga siya, therefore it follows na siya ay not for profit. Okay? So lahat ng kanyang income at lahat ng kanyang assets ay devoted for these purposes. Ang letter A. No part of its income or asset accrues to or benefit any member or specific person. It must not be a branch of a foreign non-stock non-profit corporation. Okay? So number 1, nakalagay sa tax code yung mga labor, agricultural, horticultural organizations, non-profit. Yan. Mutual Savings Bank, non-stock non-profit, cooperative bank. Association, yan, ganito. You read na lang, no? Cemetery, which is also for the exclusive benefit ng kanyang members. Yan, okay? Ito rin mga to. Chamber of Commerce, Business League, mga non-profit din yan. Okay? So, read on na lang. Okay? Yan, okay? So, ganito class, no? In reality, if you are a non-stock, non-profit corporation, and you are claiming that you are exempt, okay, you are exempt from income tax, okay? In reality, kailangan ipipinpoint mo kung anong letter ka dito. So, letter A ka ba, letter B, letter C. If I'm not mistaken, this is under section 30 ng tax code natin. So, nilalagay yan dun sa income tax return. Okay? So, my question for you is this. Pag nagtayo ka ba ng association, non-stock, non-profit, can you automatically claim na you are exempt from paying income tax? Yes or no? Let's say nagtayo ka ng corporation or your employer is non-stock, non-profit entity. Automatic ba na exempt ka agad sa income tax? So no, you're all correct. Dahil nakanino ang burden of proving that you are really exempt? Nasa iyo, nasa corporation. No? Hindi kay BIR. Wala kay BIR yun. You have the burden of proof na ipakita na talagang pumasa ka sa test. Kaya ang ginagawa sa reality, nagpapakonfirm pa sila kay BIR if they really qualify. So BIR issues certificate of tax exemption. Okay? Pero question, another question. Pag nag-qualify ka dito sa mga to, pag nag-qualify ka dito, let's say letter B. Letter B na lang para malinaw. Mutual savings bank ka. Okay? Mutual savings bank. So may mga members yan, di ba? Yung exemption ba na tinutukoy natin ay related to your entire activities or just your specific purpose? Ang tax exemption mo ba ay entirely as a corporation or for your specific transaction lang with your members? What do you think? Is the exemption a blanket exemption or specific only to your main purpose? That's right. Very good, very good. No? Specific lang to your main purpose. So parang ganito yan. Let's say si Mutual Savings Bank, meron siyang income from interest. Yan, interest kasi nagpapaloan to, bangko to eh. Main purpose niya to. Main purpose niya yan. However, meron pa siyang another income. Rent. Income. Kasi meron palang pinatayong mall itong bangko na to. Okay? Sinong exempt dito sa dalawa? Sa income tax? Both of them or yung specific lang? Sinong exempt dun sa dalawa? Okay, so that's right. That's right, Christina, Lisa, Michelle. Okay. Ito lang yung exempt. Yung income mo dito sa rent income, subject yan to regular corporate income tax or MCIT, whichever is higher. Okay? So, the exemption is per activity na meron ka. Yung talagang related lang sa pagiging non-stock, non-profit. So if you fall under these sections ng NIRC, and you become an exempt corporation, it's only exempt, your exemption is only as far as your registered activities are concerned. It's not a blanket exemption. So, ganun yung rule dyan, no? So, cooperatives. So, sinama ko rin to kasi may mga exemptions din to. Okay, yung mga yan. No? So, note nyo na lang siya. Okay? Tulad nito, sabi dito, ang cooperative, may income tax siya sa kanyang unrelated income. So, pero subject din siya to capital gains at iba pang tax. Okay? So, pag in-exempt ka sa tax, specific talaga yan, hindi yan blanket. No? Ni-specify yan sa law authorizing your exemption. Okay? So, what's your answer to the last checkpoint question? Alin dito ang subject to tax? The answer is letter C. Non-stock, non-profit hospital is a special corporation. Subject to 10%, di ba? Or right now, it's 1%, but next year, June 30, hanggang dun lang yung 1%. Okay? So, yeah. So we're done with module number 4. No? So we're gonna discuss module number 5. But let's take a quick break lang. 5 minutes, okay? Mabilis lang to, we'll finish this. Module number 5. So good morning, class. Let's resume. So we'll finish this module today. Do you see my PowerPoint?
Yes po.
Okay, so congratulations. We were able to discuss taxation, income tax for individuals and for corporations. So yung dalawang yun, very important topics yun. Kasi generally, there are two types of taxpayers, individuals and corporations. So we're going to discuss income tax on co-ownerships, okay, estates, and trusts. Okay? If you're not familiar what co-ownership is, or what an estate is, or what a trust is, this is the topic that you will learn then. Okay? So ano nga bang ibig sabihin ng co-ownership? Kadalasan, okay, merong nagpamana, yung namatay na nagpamana, decedent yung tawag doon. Or merong nag-donate, no? Okay, ng property. So merong property. So para doon sa mga tagapagmana at para doon sa mga naka-receive ng donation. Okay? Kaso, itong property na to remained undivided. So itong dalawang tagapagmana, okay, yung sasakyan, for example, na pinamana sa kanilang dalawa, so sabi, itong sasakyan na to para sa inyong dalawa yan. No? Okay? Mahirap namang hatiin yung sasakyan, di ba? Para sa kanilang dalawa, physically. So the property remain undivided. Okay? So therefore, yung dalawang tagapagmana na yun, they are now considered as co-owners dun sa property na yan. So they become co-owners. No? So they have co-ownership dun sa property na yan. Okay? So, yan. No? So the transfer of property through inheritance or donation. Okay? Yan. Yung transfer, subject yan to estate and donor's tax. Pero notice, hindi natin to i-discuss ngayon kasi next semester natin yan itatakil. Okay? Ibang subject na ito. So, what we are concerned in this topic is not the transfer transaction ng property, but the income dun sa property na yon. Okay? Ito yung topic natin. Kasi subject yung income na yan, okay, sa income tax. So dalawa yan, no? Don't worry about the number one. Next semester yan na subject. Our subject is the number 2. Ang pinakatanong dito, class, no? Yung income na to, sino ang magbabayad? Sila ba na mga co-owners as individual taxpayers? Or etong co-ownership na property nila as a corporation? So individuals ba ang taxpayer? Okay? Individual taxpayers ba? Or corporate taxpayers? Ano sa tingin nyo so far bago natin ituloy? Okay, individual or corporate? So si Dexter says individual, Alisa corporate, individual. Okay? Kasi remember class, di ba dalawa lang naman ang taxpayers natin? Individuals saka corporation. So ang tanong lang, in the case of co-ownership, sino sa kanila? Okay? So, in their own capacity ba as individuals? Or yung undivided property ba, meron na siyang juridical personality? which it became a corporation. And therefore, it now became a corporate taxpayer. No? The answer is, it depends. It depends. Okay, so let's find out. Let's find out. No? Generally, ang co-ownership, hindi yan corporation. Hindi siya subject to tax. Okay? Kasi activities lang naman doon, it's just to preserve and collect the property. So, hindi siya corporate taxpayer, generally. So, therefore, the income ni undivided property is taxable to the co-owners in their individual capacity as individual taxpayers. Okay? So, yan yung general rule dito. So, they have to file their own ITR individually. Okay? It makes sense kasi may itinayo bang corporation doon sa situation na yon or wala? The answer is wala. No? Wala namang tinayong corporation doon. It just so happened that they co-own the property which were bequeathed to them or donated to them. No? So, therefore, there's no corporation to speak of. There's no corporate taxpayer. No? So whatever income that the property earns would go to the individual owners, and the individual owners would pay the tax on their own, no? in their individual capacity. Does that make sense? Okay. So there's no corporation to speak of, so walang corporate taxpayer, generally. Okay? Yan. No? So therefore, you have to use the graduated tax rate, no? Kasi individual taxpayer. So next year pa naman tong second table. No? But sometimes the co-ownership becomes a corporation, and therefore it is now subject to tax. So nagiging taxable corporation siya. So when the heirs o yung mga tagapagmana, nag-invest sila doon sa common property nila, and they place them under a single management. Okay? So for example, fleet of taxi pala yung minana nila, at tingin nila they will earn more if they pool their properties and not subdivide them. Okay? And they invested more pa, may personnel na sila. So in a way, in essence, meron ng corporation yun. Kahit hindi mo pa iparegister yun, the BIR will see it, no, as a corporation, no? Kahit na hindi mo i-incorporate yun. Okay? So pag ganun, magkakaroon na ng corporate taxpayer. So kung domestic ang treatment dyan, therefore, it should pay the regular corporate income tax or MCIT, whichever is higher. Tapos, kung mag-distribute man ng profits dun sa mga co-owners, kasi corporation na yan, the co-owners are now shareholders, the profits to be distributed will be considered as their dividends na. Okay? Yan yung magiging situation dyan. So they're habitually engaged na sa transaction. Yeah. There is clear intent to form a partnership. Okay? Or the property remained undivided for more than 10 years. There was no attempt to ever divide it. Okay? Yeah. So let's just recap, no, kasi mabilis lang naman talaga yan. A co-ownership is not a corporation. That's the general rule. A co-ownership is not a corporation. So whatever income that it earns that goes to the co-owners should be treated as individual owners of the individual income of the individual owners. So the liability for tax rests with the individual owners. So they should be taxed as individual taxpayers. Okay? So usually in a co-ownership, because it was not formed as a corporation, there was no corporation formed, it's not taxed as a corporation. Except when these things happen, so nagkaroon pa ng investment and they're now engaged in business, so para ng may partnership, then the co-ownership becomes a taxable corporation. Okay? Even if it was not formally incorporated. The BIR will see it as a corporation. Okay? Ano naman ang ibig sabihin nitong estate? No? Ano ba itong estate na to? Ang estate class ay properties, rights, and obligations nung namatay. Ito yung mga ari-arian in Filipino term. No? Ito yung mga ari-arian ng namatay. Okay? So, yung namatay, okay, will pass on yung kanyang mga ari-arian doon sa kanyang mga tagapagmana. So, let's say for example, si Henry C., no, nung namatay siya. So, yung holdings niya sa SM Group, napunta sa mga anak niya. Okay? Plus, ganun ba mabilis lang ba ma-transfer mula doon sa decedent papunta sa mga tagapagmana etong property na to? Mabilis lang ba yan ma-transfer? I mean, knock on wood, nawala today din ba matatransfer yan? Or kung malaking properties yan? Let me answer my question. Ano? Hindi siya mabilis ma-transfer. Sometimes because of disputes, could take some time, years minsan ang ina-happen. Saka yung legality niyan, the legal ownership, pag-transfer pa lang, yung title, matagal siya. Okay? Nung buhay pa to, siya ang taxpayer. Di ba? Siya ang taxpayer. Nung buhay pa siya. Okay? Yung mga income ng properties na to, ang nagbabayad ng income tax, nung buhay pa siya, ay siya as a taxpayer. Paano kung may income to? Yung properties na to. Sino na ang magbabayad ng tax? Sino na ngayon ang taxpayer? Kasi namatay na yung may-ari, no? So, okay. Yung heirs ba diretso? Remember, hindi ganun kabilis ma-transfer. So, Jonah says trustee. Okay. Sino na ang taxpayer ngayon? Kasi wala na si decedent eh. Wala na, no? Notice class, ang magiging taxpayer ay yung mismong property. Siya na ang magiging taxpayer ngayon. At ang tawag mo sa kanya ay walang iba kundi yung topic natin. Ang tawag mo sa kanya ay estate. So who is now the taxpayer? The decedent pa rin? The heirs diretso? Or yung estate muna? Ang sagot, yung estate muna. This makes sense. Bakit? Hindi na si decedent because decedent is no longer around. Hindi pwedeng si heirs diretso kasi hindi pa naman talaga siya yung may-ari. Kasi we're assuming, no? It's under settlement pa. So during the intervening period, prior to the transfer, yung mismong estate, yung mismong property. Okay? Ang magiging taxpayer. To prove to you na siya ang taxpayer, are you familiar with TIN or TIN? It's the tax identification number. Tayo, kumukuha tayo ng TIN. Itong decedent, may TIN yan. No? Itong heirs, may TIN yan. Itong estate din, may TIN din to. Kinukuha sa BIR. Unique yan, bawat TIN is unique. Hindi pwedeng hindi yan nadodoble. Okay? So, by fiction of law, the estate becomes a taxpayer. It seems like it now becomes a co-ownership. You might ask, Sir, kung yung estate ay taxpayer na siya, di balit tatlo na pala ang taxpayers natin. Individuals, corporations, estate. That's a wrong premise, class. Ang taxpayers lang natin, dalawa, generally. Individuals and corporations. Eh sir, kakasabi mo lang, ang estate taxpayer na. Ang estate taxpayer siya, pero ang classification niya, wala siyang hiwalay na classification. It's actually considered pa rin as an individual. Okay, let's see kung bakit. So ulitin ko lang yung mga pangyayari. Nung transfer yung property, estate tax yan. Ignore. Kailan natin i-discuss yung estate tax? Next semester. That's a separate subject. Tax 2 nyo yan, no? Ang tax 1 niya, di ba, income tax. Tax 2 yung estate tax. Income of estate during administration or settlement. So, income tax. Ito yung di-discuss natin ngayon. Okay? If it becomes undivided, para na siyang co-ownership. Okay? So, yan, no? So, again, anong klaseng taxpayer sa estate? Individual or corporation? Individual. Ano siya? Separate taxpayer or not? Ano sa estate? Separate taxpayer or not? Separate. How do we say na separate siya? Because the estate on its own ay may sarili siyang team. So nagpa-file siya ng sarili niyang IPR. Pero considered siya na individual. So yung administrator ng estate na yan, during administration settlement, kung may na-earn man niya ng income, should pay for income tax ng estate. Ng estate. Hindi ng decedent, hindi ng heirs, but ng estate. Kasi the estate is a separate taxpayer. Okay? Pero anong tax ang pag-compute mo? Paano mo kukomputin yung income tax niya? Should you use the graduated tax rates or should you use the regular corporate income tax? Pag kinompute mo yung income tax sa income na to ng estate, what should you use? Graduated or RC? Very good, very good. Graduated. Because individual taxpayer siya at hindi naman siya corporation. So ulitin ko lang just to make things clear. No? Ilang taxpayers meron tayo sa tax system natin sa Pilipinas? Dalawa. Individuals and corporations. Okay? An estate falls under what classification? Individual. And therefore should compute its income tax using the graduated tax rates. Okay? Okay, let's talk about trust. Mukhang mahirap pag-usapan to, no? Trust. Big word. Okay? So let's see. Ipinagkatiwala. Parang yun ang mas tamang term eh. Ipinagkatiwala or parang ganun. Something like that. Okay? Katiwala, trustee, mga ganun. Ganun yung mga terms dito. So there's what we call trust agreement. No? Merong trustor, siya yung owner talaga ng property originally. Transfer niya by virtue of an agreement sa trustee. Kadalasan bangko to. Are you familiar with Metro Bank? Metro Bank. Yan, okay? Ano bang full name ni Metro Bank? Ang full name niya, MB, kasi Metro Bank, MB, TC. Yan yung full initials ni Metro Bank. Because ang full name ni Metro Bank ay Metro Bank and Trust Corporation. That's correct daw. Okay, meron kasing, Metro Bank kasi is not just engaged in banking business, but also sa trust. Meron siyang trust department. Okay? So, Metro Bank can be a trustee by virtue of trust agreement. So transfer sa kanya yung legal title, control ng property, but on a fiduciary or in trust lang. Kasi kaya siya trustee. Siya ang katiwala. No? Katiwala. Okay, pero mayroong beneficiary. Okay? So, kasi kadalasan, for example, ako for example, in my case, nakaipon ako ng certain amount of money. And I want someone to manage that money. And I want eventually tayan anak ko, no? So, and I want an expert to do that. So I can designate Metro Bank as a trustee. No? But eventually, when the beneficiary becomes of age, mapupunta sa kanya yun, the equitable title and the benefits as well. But we have to sign a trust agreement. Okay? Now, the taxation of estates and trust. As I told you kanina, same as an individual. And diniscuss natin sa estates. Ganon din sa trust. So therefore, may PIN din ba itong trustee na to? The answer is yes. Separate yan. Okay? So, may PIN yan, yung trustee. Not just the trustee, but the trust. This one pala to, this one. Trustee pala is the Metro Bank. Okay? So same as an individual, no? Except yung income distributed. Okay? So, allowed siya as deduction, pero dun sa heir or beneficiary, magiging taxable income yan. So, for example, sa estate, bukod sa allowable deduction, pag nag-distribute siya ng income to heirs, i-deduct din yan. But, yung heirs should reflect that as yung kanyang income. Ganun din sa trust. Trust pala. Wait lang class, baka nalito pala kayo. Erase ko muna to. Sinong tinutukoy natin na trust dito? Sinong trust dito sa slide? The trustor, the trustee, the beneficiary, or the agreement? Very good. Hindi naman pala kayo nalito. It's the agreement. And our treatment sa kanya, ano siya? Individual taxpayer or corporate taxpayer? Okay, so very good. Try individual taxpayer. Okay? Hindi si Metrobank, ha? Hindi si Metrobank. Metrobank is just a what? A trustee. But hindi siya yung trust mismo. In fact, Metrobank is a corporation. Okay? So, the agreement. Okay? So, ang treatment mo sa kanya, individual. So, yan. May sarili siyang PIN. So, pag nag-compute ka ng tax, same lang. Except lang for the income distribution. You have to remove that from your income to arrive at taxable income. But the beneficiaries and the heirs should reflect them as their income. Hindi naman pwedeng hindi i-reflect dito sa baba. Kasi magiging source lang yan ng tax evasion. No? Distribute lang lahat, then wala ng taxable income. Okay? So, hindi nga lang applicable to if the trust is administered in foreign countries. Okay? So, I will skip na itong allowed deduction. Yung ano lang naman to, yung distribute. So, just read on. Okay? Nothing to really emphasize there. So, let's illustrate. Okay? So, this individual died in 2020, leaving an estate worth 10 million pesos. The estate is still under administration. Therefore, the estate becomes an individual taxpayer. In 2021, the properties in the estate earned 600,000. Okay. The estate incurred expenses of 150,000. Francis, one of the heirs, received 120,000. So the income tax payable by the estate is how much in 2021? So gross income, 600,000. Expenses, ibawas natin. Ito yung unique sa kanya. Okay, so 120. Then the taxable income is 330,000. The first 250 is exempt. The excess out of the 330 is 80,000, 20% yan. 16,000 therefore. So paano kinompute yung tax na to? Using what? Graduated or RC? Graduated. Because again, the estate is an individual affair. Now, assumption, second question, that Francis, head of the family, also earned 500,000 from his trading business. So, paano mo i-report yung taxable income niya? Hindi lang yung 500,000, but also the income distribution. So, therefore, the taxable income is 620,000. So, hindi na natin kinompute yung income tax payable because it's not asked naman. What asked lang is the taxable income. Okay? So checkpoint question number 2. Johnny transferred a valuable 10-door commercial apartment to a designated trustee, Miriam, no? Naming the trust instrument Santino, no? Yung kanyang 10-year-old son as the sole beneficiary. The trustee is entrusted to distribute the yearly rentals amounting to $720,000. The trustee consults you if she has to pay the annual income tax on rentals received from the commercial apartment. So what advice will you give the trustee? And will your advice be the same if the trustee is directed to accumulate the rental income and distribute the same only when the beneficiary reaches the age of why or why not? So nagtanong siya sa'yo kung magbabayad ba siya ng annual income tax. Remember, ang nare-receive mo na rental income na 720, dinidistribute mo rin. So what will be your advice? Should the trustee pay income tax out of the trust? What's your advice? Ang sagot class, you should advise that the trustee has nothing to pay in annual income taxes because anong taxable income ng trust? Zero. This is because the amount of income is simply what? Distributed. And the distributed income is it's actually a what? A deduction from gross income. Do you agree with the advice? Diba you have to deduct the income distribution. So wala naman siyang kinip na amount because whatever was earned and expended were just distributed. So wala siyang babayaran income tax. Okay, so will your advice be the same kung yung trustee is directed to accumulate? So the answer is no. This time you have to pay income tax. Why? Dahil meron kang gross income na 720 pero wala ka ng deduction kasi wala kang income distribution. Therefore, meron ka ng taxable income, yung trust. So therefore, magbabayad na siya ng income tax. Okay? So yan. Exemption to this one is employees' trust. Hindi applicable yung mga sa pension, bonus, profit sharing sa employer. So the amount distributed sa employee shall be taxable dun sa employee. Okay? So computation and payment. So we've discussed already. Handaan nyo lang pala class, pag revocable yung trust, or it's really for the benefit of the grantor, walang trust talaga dito. So therefore, ang taxpayer pa rin dito is the grantor. Later, we'll have an example to illustrate this. So ulitin ko lang, no? Pag nag-set up ako ng trust, pero pwede kong ma-revoke, or pag nag-set up ako ng trust, pero ako din yung beneficiary, that's number 1. Number 2, sino ang taxpayer pa rin doon? Ako pa rin ba or yung trust na? Answer, ako pa rin. Okay? So the grantor pa rin, no? The trustor pa rin. Okay? So ang tinutukoy dito na trust is the irrevocable trust. Kasi kung revocable yan, there's really no trust that was established. Or if it's really for my benefit, then it really pertains to me pa rin. Then there's no trust established. Okay? Consolidation ng income ng dalawang trust. Pwede mo raw pagsama-samahin kung the same trustor, the same trustee, the same beneficiary. Consolidate lang, pagsama-samahin lang, pwede lang apportion siya. This is the apportionment formula. Specific trust over all trust. Then the computed consolidated income tax. So that's the portion tax for that trust. Okay. That's the example. No? Para malaman ko may due pa rin siya o wala. Example, para malinaw. In 2020, JJ created two trusts for his minor son, JJ II. During the year, the two trusts earned 4 million for trust 1, 6 million for trust 2. How much yung income tax payable ng dalawang trust? So the two are consolidated. So since individual siya, paano ito kinumpute? Graduated. So how is it going to be apportioned? Okay, trust 1, or the total is 10 million, di ba? So 4 over 10 million, 40% sa kanya. Okay, trust 2 naman, 6 over 10 million, 60%. Nothing special about this. It's just getting the total and consolidating them. Okay? Kung meron pang kulang dito sa hindi nila nabayaran, then they'll have to pay it sa BIR. Okay? Revocable trust. So, kung yung power to revest the title, kaya niyang, ano bang Tagalog ng revoke? Sa walang visa. Okay? Kumbaga kung, let's say, nag-set up ako ng trust fund kay Metrobank, pero kaya ko siyang i-withdraw sa walang visa at mapunta pa rin sa akin yung amount, then that trust is revocable. And in that case, the income ng trust ay taxable pa rin sa akin. Okay? So ulitin ko lang, class. Anong trust ang tinutukoy natin na separate individual taxpayer? Revocable or irrevocable? Irrevocable. Okay, there is no separate taxpayer if the trust is revocable. There's no separate because ang taxable taxpayer pa rin doon is the grantor or the trustor. Okay? Yeah. So ito yung example. Mr. Nag-aalangan created a trust naming his eldest son. Okay? Kaduda-duda. As beneficiary. The eldest son could not abide, if the eldest son could not abide by the terms provided in the instrument. So the trustor has the power to cancel. Yan. So ano tong trust agreement na to? Revocable or irrevocable? This is revocable. So is the trust agreement a separate taxpayer? No. Who remains as the taxpayer if the property in trust earns income? It's still Mr. Nag-aalangan, the grantor. So for the current taxable year, the trust earned net income before exemptions, 1 million. The grantor earned compensation of 1.5 and business income of 1 million. Unang tanong, the taxable income of the trust is how much? What's your answer for this box? Magkano ang income ng trust? The first question is yung trust. Magkano ang income ng trust? Kay trust muna tayo. $1 million, okay? Magkano ang income ng trust? Na taxable, rather, na taxable. Magkano ang taxable income ng trust? I think the better question is there really a taxable trust? When does a trust become taxable? If it is what? Irrevocable. Do we have a taxable trust in the example? No, because it's revocable. So if you're asked, magkano ang taxable income ng trust? The answer is nil, nothing, nil, nothing, or zero. There's no taxable income of trust because there's no trust established. Because the trust is just irrevocable. So based on the data, magkano naman yung taxable income ni Mr. Nag-aalangan? Kanino mapupunta itong income na 1 million ng revocable trust? Kay Mr. Nag-aalangan. So in addition to his compensation income and business income, sa kanya ang income ng trust. Okay? So 3.5 million. Paano kung irrevocable yung trust? Kung irrevocable, nandito ang 1 million. Wala dito sa baba. So this becomes 2.5 million. Kasi separate taxpayer na si trust if it were irrevocable. Clear? Yan. So notes na lang. Estate, separate entity, taxable siya habang nasa proceeding pa. Ang trust, separate entity if it is irrevocable. Pag revocable, the income shall be taxable to the grantor. So you read na lang itong part na. And the others. So read nyo na lang ito. No? So, yan. Okay? Nothing to really emphasize there kasi mga legal ano lang yan. Matters. No? Okay.